Welcome back, Wolfpack. Vrolas here, and this is how to use Rotom's fan form. So I am going to be doing a separate video for each of Rotom's forms, and that has some good and bad things about it. If you're watching all of the videos about Rotom's forms, then I am going to repeat myself a lot, because I will say the same thing over and over for people that are just watching this individual video or an individual video of that form. But at the same time, I will also show this Pokemon's strengths and the advantages over this Rotom's form over other Rotom forms. So there's going to be a lot of points where I really excel at showing this Pokemon and how it differs from the other Rotom forms, and then I'm just going to repeat myself a lot. So I might even say this in some other videos. Just try to bear with me on this one. So looking at Rotom stats, Rotom is a tanky Pokemon. A lot of you guys have probably had experience either using or going up against any of Rotom's forms, so we know how tanky this can be. 107 on both defenses and 50 on the hit points means that we're going to be able to tank out pretty well, that we're going to hopefully not see too many super effective hits, but outside of that, we're still going to hit pretty hard. 105 special attack, 65 attack, we don't care too much, and 86 speed. Now 86 speed isn't the fastest, but it's actually faster than a lot of tanks. A lot of tanky Pokemon have around 70s, maybe even 80 or less, so we're actually going to outspeed without too much investment, and then we also have a lot of tankiness behind us, and just a lot of crazy utility. For Rotom's fan form, it is going to be an electric flying typing. Defensively, we're doing pretty good, fighting, flying, bug, steel, and grass resistances, and we're only weak to rock and ice. Now, ice is a bit common, and rock does have a bit of popularity because of Pokemon like Talonflame, but overall it's going to be pretty good because our flying typing also gives us an immunity to ground. Wait, we also have the levitate ability. Huh. Well then, we also have some neutral effective moves, but that's kind of it. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, I'm going to start these videos by showing the standard Rotom, so if you're running any Rotom form, this is just a good backbone if you want to just play a Rotom that's pretty tanky. You run something like Will-O-Wisp, or you can also go for Thunder Wave for the status. They have Pain Split for sustain. Sometimes you see Rest, so you can like Chesto Resto with this Pokemon. So if you don't want Pain Split leftovers, you can have Chesto Resto. You can also put Protect if you really want to kind of stall out your opponent. You burn them, you get a little bit of health back from leftovers, stall them out with the Protect, and then you go for Thunderbolt. Now with Rotom, you can go with Thunderbolt or Volt Switch. So you want to stay in for the higher damage, Thunderbolt is going to be good. If you just want to throw down some status, get a little damage in, and disrupt your opponent, then switch out, you want to go for the Volt Switch. Some people, they're big fans of using moves like U-Turn, Volt Switch, so that is definitely an option on Rotom, and then you generally have your signature move. So in this case, it's going to be Air Slash. Air Slash does a lot of cool things, and we're going to talk about that. So with Rotom, you're going to almost always have to max out its hit points. We're not looking to make it a super fast Pokemon in a lot of situations. Some of Rotom's forms do want a Scarf, but I don't think you want to put a Scarf on Rotom Fan, so we want to just go with the Tankiness. If we are running Will-O-Wisp, then we don't have to invest too much into our defense, just a little bit of defensive investment, and then we go for the rest into special defense. So the way I see it is that we're going to be weak against Ice-type attacks. Mostly those are going to be special attacks from something like Ice Beam or Blizzard, and then we just throw out the Will-O-Wisp. So we land the Will-O-Wisp, their attack gets cut in half, so now we're tanking them up really well defensively, and that's kind of it. The rest of it is just predictive play on the Pain Split to make sure that you heal up, and then playing around the Thunderbolt. On other Rotom forms, you might see Rotom with Trick, but that is pretty much for choice item Rotoms. And now let's get into Fan Rotom's signature moveset. I was thinking about the ultimate gimmicks. If you're wondering why the thumbnail looks so weird, it's like, why does it just say Raffle? It doesn't say anything about how to use Rotom, it doesn't have the moveset, it doesn't have anything. That's because this Rotom form is going to be an absolute gimmick tank, and it can do a lot of really cool things. So what you want to do is if your opponent is faster than you, you lead with the Thunder Wave, you go into Confuse Ray, and then you use Air Slash. The idea behind this is that you just completely shut down your opponent. 25% to not attack, 50% to not attack, 30% chance to not attack. So we have flinch, confusion, or paralysis, and as those stack up, we can get some serious work done. So say we use Thunder Wave, we anticipate taking damage, we can also just go straight into a Pain Split from there, or throughout the Confuse Ray. That if the opponent isn't too hit KOing you, that's actually really ideal, that Thunder Wave Confuse Ray. Say they still hit you because of confusion, well next turn you're still faster than them because of the paralysis, which means that you use Pain Split. So after taking 2 hits, you're probably kind of around a third of health, maybe a little lower. So you're gaining a lot of health back. Leftovers is still healing you up at the end of the turn. If they hit themselves in confusion or they get paralyzed, well then that means you're just compounding all of this. Now you got a lot of health back for free. Leftovers is still going to proc, and you just Air Slash them until they go down. Now, since we are playing Gimmick that doesn't rely on bulk, we can also just go with a modest nature, that Rotom can excel as just a 252 hit points, 252 special attack modest Pokemon, and this is going to be pretty effective. So pretty much you just want to stay away from super effective hits, so don't get hit by rock, don't get hit by ice, and then this can effectively shut down Pokemon really well, and if you get your rotation right, you know, you don't take a lot of damage because you're getting air slashes, you're getting confusions, you can still be at a decent amount of health, so you can still, you know, Thunder Wave, Confuse Ray, Air Slash, KO. Thunder Wave, Pain Split, say they don't get confused or anything and they still knock you out. Now you have one paralyzed opponent that's missing health after you just completely hacks them out. It's a hilarious strategy that has a decent chance of being effective. Sure, it is luck-based, but since Rotom is so tanky, it does remove a lot of the luck, and you can still shut down Pokemon pretty effectively with this. If opponent tries to switch, that's just free Confuse Ray or Thunder Wave opportunities, and you can just use it as a major status Pokemon that frustrates your opponent. This is the Pokemon you want to bring to tilt your opponent. That tilting is when you start getting in your own head, that you go, oh, this is screwing me over, this is so dumb, it's stupid, oh, it's just hacks, I'm losing the hacks. You know, if you get your opponent thinking negatively, they're more likely to misplay, and Fan Rotom, I can say, is a pretty good Pokemon at causing that, and if we even want to get really funny with it, we can always run the Air Balloon on Fan Rotom, because, I mean, we have Levitate, we have Flying, and then we have Air Balloon, so there's no way we're getting hit by a Ground-type move, well, except for Gravity. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.